The last of the feature blogs for FM24 dropped today. Miles has written the last one. It's the second part of that quality of life upgrade, so we're going to have a look at it. If you're excited like me about FM24, make sure you use code SIMAGIO24 at Fanatical. Down in the description below, you'll get the game for £35.05. You'll get the early access, which is probably about, I don't know where I'm looking at an imaginary clock. I think I'm looking at that one there. There's one there. Well, I'm looking at that clock there, and it's probably, what are we saying, about the 20th, I think. It's a week away. There you go. I'll say that. No, it's probably some time between a week and a half away from today. So hopefully we'll be playing FM24 very, very soon. So go check out that link in the description. Make sure you use that link in the description. Make sure you use that code SIMAGIO24 and you'll get the game 22% cheaper than you would on Steam. So this is the blog. This is the latest one. So we're going to have a look through this. Obviously, we look through part one in the other video. If you haven't seen that, go have a look at that video after this one. In fact, I'll put the playlist for all of the updates at the end of this one. So if you haven't seen what else is coming to FM, make sure you go and click that. But let's have a look at these final changes. These are normally smaller things, but I mean, sometimes they can they can become bigger things. So quality of life upgrades part 2, match preparation. Now this is interesting because I spotted this in a video earlier on. There is a match preparation tab. It doesn't actually show it in this image, but there's a tab in the training section. So if you find the screenshot from the training section, go back. I think I spotted it in an earlier video and it showed it and you could see. So here it's saying what you should train for. Now normally I leave training, so I doubt that's probably why I wasn't sure if it already existed or not. But you can see here, interesting, manager retires. So they brought the manager. Why does it say manager retires? Yeah, so the match focus. So your team will prepare specifically for that next match. That'll be really useful if you know if a team's like particularly good at certain set pieces. Obviously that brings in the set piece preparation that we've seen from the new set piece designer, which I am really excited to get my hands on that particular aspect of the game. So that could be kind of interesting to see how that works out. That's one of the changes. We have the match briefing feedback panel. So it tells you if your captain or your vice captain has a notable reaction, and it'll be put there as like the most important piece of information because the influence that they have. And when other actions hover over, the players in agreement will be listed individually so you can see exactly who is reacting positively and negatively. So that's kind of useful. You can offer players out on loan by the development center. That sort of fits in with those new features around offering players. That just makes it a bit easier. I'm doing a build a nation, so hopefully that helps with the build a nation. Although I am worried about the new rules. We'll come to new rules in a minute. Player swap deals, just a little bit quality of life thing here. This is literally quality of life. You can just select the player from a drop down rather than having to rather than having to click through various other screens to select them. Overall of managers per competition. This is interesting. So extra statistics. So you can see how long the managers have been at the clubs in your league, which is kind of cool. Most league title and champion stats, also kind of cool. Extra stats, you can see who the biggest team is, especially if you're going into a league you don't know. We all know that, I don't know, Manchester United have the most Premier Leagues. I think it's Manchester, yeah, it must be Manchester United. You know, and Alex Ferguson has the best leagues, or the manager who's been there the longest now is Pep? Pep? Might be Pep or Klopp. Pep, I think it's Pep. So the manager who's been there the longest. So yeah, you can go have a look at these kind of things. Most league title and the fantasy draft. Right, I'm excited for fantasy draft always, every year. Obviously I used to run the draft on a Sunday. It might be making a comeback, so come join me over on twitch.tv/SIMAGIO. If you want to take part in draft mode, come into my Twitch chat and say, SIMAGIO, I want to take part in draft mode. Oh, you don't have to write me, you can call me Si. I want to take part in draft modes on Sundays. Get it started again, or you can write it in the comments of this video as well, and we'll get it going again. There's some bugs that needed fixing in it, so hopefully they're fixed. So it says including, which is an important word, which means that hopefully these aren't the only ones. The shortlist functionality during the draft now shows all the players you've shortlisted instead of only those who match the restrictions. That's interesting. So you can see the players you've shortlisted for, because you can do restrictions by rounds and by picks. So if you can, although does it show players who aren't in any of the restrictions? That would be kind of annoying. And that would be interesting. You'd have to, there's pros and cons to that. There's pros and cons to that. A skip round button, the number of times people have accidentally ended because they only meant to skip their turn. So yeah, skip round is kind of useful. And competition rules, loads of changes, 1,400 researchers. I hope the one that they've changed, although I'm not playing in Italy this year, but I hope they fixed the Serie A relegation because it happened this year. Who was it? It was Hellas Verona And who did they play against? Spezia, I think it was, had to play a relegation playoff because they changed the Serie A rules this year, and it just so happened. So if two teams finish on the same points, it doesn't go down to goal difference. They have to play a match against each other, and the one who wins obviously stays up, and the one who loses goes down. It's a two-legged match, so that wasn't there last year, which certainly doesn't show in the rules. Hopefully they've added it. They've not listed it as one of the ones here. I thought they would have done, because they've sort of listed more, like they've mentioned Turkey, Malaysia. Now, they have added Gibraltar as a playable nation. They've said that means there's now two playable nations, although they always made Gibraltar, and they always put it in the workshop, and I don't know why they did that, to encourage people to go into the workshop, I think, but yes, they got the Gibraltar League, they got the J League. There's the work permit system changes, so including telling the world what ESC actually means. I don't know what ESC means. I'm gonna have to look that up, but I think it means that European players can now come and go from the UK. They sorted that out, which was a real pain last year, not having European players in Europe. So large-scale competition format changes. Okay, so the national team and club competitions, that's useful. Dynamic English youth system is interesting. So specifically in England, a club's youth team will now move up or down because they don't go into the right divisions. Functionality for more than 3 nations to host the tournament. Of course, just this week, we had England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Ireland are all going to host the Euros. So that would be really interesting. In the Canadian Premier League, the end of season playoffs has a dynamic format based on the teams in Canada, and MLS can get their own rules and do whatever the hell they want. We standardized substitution of foreign player rules across a number of leagues. So I wonder if there is some new loan rules, I think, and I need to check what they are. So hopefully they're in the game, but I don't want them to make it. If they don't exist, I don't want them in the game, because they're going to make my build a nation very, very hard. A new foreign player rule for the Super League in Malaysia, and a new aggregate table in Argentina. The aggregate tables are weird. The game speed. So they also said, despite all these additions, the game is going to run quicker. Good stuff. So yeah, actually, it's actually quicker than FM24. It doesn't say how much quicker. So that's it. That is all the updates across this video, not just this post now in this video, obviously the other videos I've done as well from the other blog posts and the videos that they've put out. But that is all of them as a whole, except console and mobile. They're going to give some updates on that in 2 weeks' time by the looks of it. I thought there was supposed to be an update, another update this week, but it doesn't look next week, sorry, but it doesn't look like it. They pushed these forward, I think. I think one of these was supposed to be this week and one next week, perhaps. Console and mobile have disappeared. So, they've got a little J League thing here on its own. So yeah, there. So we'll see what they say about console and mobile. I'm interested to know what's going on console. Obviously, a lot of you play on console. I know because I put out the console guide that a lot of you have found the channel through that way. FM Touch as well. They're not looking at FM Touch until November. Interesting. I wonder what that's the Switch one, right? And iPad. Oh, was Touch Apple Arcade or was mobile Apple Arcade? Touch was Apple Arcade. Mobile is going to be Netflix, so that'll be interesting. So I wonder if Apple Arcade is there or not. So we'll see about that. So yeah, you got circa 2 weeks early if you've pre-ordered from a participating digital retailer. Click that button, scroll down. Don't click that button, click the link in the description below, but you will see it right there, Fanatical. So these are the official retailers for Football Manager. So if it's not on here, then be warned. Be warned. You know, you could be buying a dodgy key. I don't know why the Rome Total War officials thought, I mean, I assume they don't sell Football Manager. So yeah, go down into the description below, use the code SAMAGIO24 and go get yourself a copy of the game, and we'll be playing it in 2 weeks, I reckon. Well, less than 2 weeks now. So that's it. That is all the upgrades. So what I want you to do, now we've got a good picture of everything, I want you to let me know in the comments, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited you are for FM24. If you're skipping it, why you're skipping it. Or if you're, if you're getting it, who's going to be your first save? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to check out all the other updates that are coming to FM24, make sure you go check out this video. I've gone through every one of these blog posts, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. And we've gone through some of the videos and other bits and pieces, some stuff about the J League and stuff in there as well. So make sure you go check that out. Also in that playlist, there's going to be some nice save ideas if you haven't got one yet. So, go check out this FM24 playlist, and I'll see you playing the game, hopefully, in a couple of weeks.